He would only play to the death.
It wasn't a form of play anymore. It was all about winning.
The Russians are going to really be in for it when I get the title.
If you can't have all-out nuclear war, you couldn't have the World Chess Championship.
But at the peak of his fame, he disappeared and self-destructed.
He's shy, suspicious of strangers.
You don't understand, Harry. These Russians are against me.
He's said to have taken out all his gold teeth because it was a way for the Soviets to send X-ray to attack him.
He resurfaced 20 years later and turned his back on his country.
Well, this is all wonderful news. It's time for the U.S. to get their heads kicked in.
Now, an American hero lives as a fugitive.
The most famous and the most inexplicable recluse ever. I want to know why.
What drove Bobby Fischer into madness?
He was very close to his mother.
He felt abandoned by his father.
He has a paranoid delusion.
He had psychopathic tendencies.
I want to get mentally ill. He's just become rotten.
Basically, people think that there's something wrong with the man.
I don't think there's going to be any reclamation.
This is Bobby Fischer, Anything to Win. The game of chess has been played by kings and presidents, artists and athletes, young and old. But professional chess never garnered much attention until Bobby Fischer.
Fischer really piqued the national imagination. He was charismatic, tall, handsome, somewhat mysterious.
He was very interesting. He was offbeat. He was unique. He was idiosyncratic. Journalists love people like him. They make headlines.
Chess was not a popular game. It was not part of American myth. Overnight, Bobby Fischer put chess on the map of America.
Right on, thank you. Okay.
How did a high school dropout become a cultural touchstone, carrying the weight of a nation? And what price did he pay to get there?
He said, I wanted to become world champion. I've achieved it. Now I don't know what to do. And I think that is the crux of what happened afterwards.
If you put all your time and all your efforts to become a master in a thing like, or art like chess, you sacrifice. And the question is, what is it that you sacrifice? The next question is, of course, is it worth it?
To understand Bobby Fischer, one must go back to before he was born, to his mother, Regina.
Regina was a brilliant woman. She studied medicine in the Soviet Union in the 1930s under Stalin.
She spoke 7 languages fluently. By the time she had Bobby, she had studied in about 6 different universities.
Because she was Jewish, Regina had fled Europe, separating from her husband, German biophysicist Hans Gerhard Fischer. She raised Bobby and his older sister Joan by herself, at one point living in a shelter for single mothers.
There was a time when she considered putting Bobby up for adoption, and I think tearfully told the social worker in Chicago that it's not something she wanted to go through with.
When Bobby was 5, his mother moved the family into an apartment in Brooklyn.
His sister, Joan, bought a chess set in the candy store above which they lived.
He was pretty soon completely obsessed by it, so much so that his mother took him to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist said, well, there were more things to worry about than chess. Relax.
At 9, Bobby played his first organized tournament. By 11, he was a regular in New York's chess clubs.
Bobby was a chess sponge. He would walk into a room where there were chess players, and he'd sweep around and he'd look for any chess books or magazine, and he'd sit down and he'd just swallow them one after another, and he'd memorize everything.
He decided when he was 8 or 9 or something, they wanted to be world champion.
I was getting pretty good when I was about 11. I started to feel pretty good.
He said he read 1,000 chess books, and he absorbed the best from every one of them. I think he had the equivalent of 100 PhDs in chess.
While the rest of us were
concentrating on school studies and sports and girls. He memorized everything there was to be known about the theory of the time.
Bobby did what you had to do to become the best player in the world.
Chess is a complex game with a simple objective: to capture the opponent's king. Moving pieces in concert, players try to outwit and checkmate the opposition.
What chess is really about is, as well as pure calculational power, it's about a form of wisdom, it's about intuition, it's about imagining yourself forward. Bobby just could feel his way forward. At the age of 13, he played this amazing match against Donald Byrne.
Extraordinary, incredible game for anybody, and for a 13-year-old, it's virtually unbelievable. First of all, it was a queen sacrifice. Queen is the strongest piece on the board, and if you give it up, you usually lose. The game is over. Hans Kmach, who was a leading chess author and analyst of the day, called it the game of the century, and title sticks to this day.
When Bobby was 13 years old in 1956, we were approximately of the same strength. I was 19, and we played about equally. A year later, when he was 14, he was clearly better than I or anyone else in the United States.
Age 14, he became US champion. Age 15, he became the youngest grandmaster in history.
By then, everybody knew we had a genius on our hands.
The amazing Bobby Fischer. He replayed for the spectators the game in which he won the U.S. National Championship.
From the time he was 13 or 14, he was a celebrity.
Here, chess players old and young competed against Bobby Fischer as he played 25 games simultaneously without a loss.
The world approached him on his own terms, in part because he demanded it, in part because he was King Bobby.
Will you tell us how old you are and where you're from?
I'm 15 up from Brooklyn.
This young man's name is Bobby Fischer, and listen to this. Already, he is the United States chess champion.
To his mother, Bobby's gift represented an opportunity.
She really tried to manipulate, in many ways, his career and tried to find ways to promote him.
She called me up one time and said, I want Bobby to go on this certain TV station. I don't want to tell him because if I tell him, he won't do it. So I want you to tell him.
One of my jobs was to raise funds for players to play overseas. And she was always in my office trying to get this money. And Bobby was embarrassed by all of this.
Bobby had no relationship with the man listed on his birth certificate as his father, Hans Gerhard Fischer.
Occasionally I would mention something to Bobby about your father or something, and he would say, I didn't know my father. He left when I was 2.
Or at least one occasion he cried when fathers was mentioned at a toast at a banquet. And I read somewhere else that if you mentioned his father, he wasn't the same for the rest of the day.
What about your father?
No, I don't see him.
Are they living together?
No, her.
Sports writer Dick Schaap covered Bobby regularly and befriended him.
My father, Dick Schaap, knew that Bobby didn't have really a father figure in his life, and I think my father filled that function, taking him to sporting events, trying to socialize him to a certain degree in a world outside of chess.
But Bobby showed little interest in anything outside of the 64 squares.
Although his IQ was estimated at 187, that's high genius level, it didn't translate into school success.